Hello friends and welcome back to another ETTO catch-up, and in this one we're doing an AMA and we're doing a little bit of news, and I'm also here with the ever so also here...
So smooth. It's Josh. How we doing?
It's Josh. I'm doing fine, how are you?
I'm very good. So this afternoon we asked a whole bunch of our, all of our Discordians, our ETTOs, our ETT whatever we're calling them nowadays, to send us some questions. Not necessarily pop culture related, but just in general. Just a whole bunch of questions, because I guess not a lot has happened, and I don't think you and I have had a whole lot of time to get to the movies to see things like Hobbs and Shaw and stuff like that.
I want to see it!
So I really do as well. It looks like a lot of fun.
I've only heard good things.
Yes. So, we thought we would do this so that you guys can get to know us a little bit better.
So first off, from Checkers, who also abruptly by Lama Loki was questioned of their name. It was very funny because Lama Loki was like, "What's an AMA?" And then Checker goes, "Ask me anything." And so Lama Loki goes, "Why are you called Checkers?"
That was great. Shout out to Lama Loki as well. He's our latest Patreon, joined just a couple of days ago, and he's already getting right into the thick of some discussions with the rest of the crew, which is awesome. So welcome.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lama Loki, for joining us and for your support.
Yes, and just before we get into the questions, if you do want to join the fold of the ETTOs, the F-feet, whatever the crap they're called, jump on over to patreon.com/each to their own, just $1, however much you want to donate. It helps us get cameras, good mics, and just buy games that we can show off to you.
Yeah, it's good times. Thank you so much to everyone else who has supported us as well. And one of those people is, as we already mentioned, Checkers, who asked about our top childhood game. Will, what is yours?
So I got 3, but I will just say my number 1 is Croc the Legend of the Gobbos.
Very good. Good choice.
If you don't know, there's actually a crazy story behind it, which I one day will make a video for. But basically, Croc the Legend of Gobbos, it's basically Yoshi, but in Super Mario World, and there's a reason for that, because that's exactly what it was. The developers of Croc were like, "Hey, Nintendo, you want us to make a game?" They're like, "Yeah," and they're like, so let's do Yoshi, but it's in a 3D world, and you can kind of run around and stuff." And Nintendo were like, "That's dumb," and fired them. And then they made Mario 64, which is that.
Pretty much that. So rude.
Yeah, so the devs then just made Croc, which is a game that is very much swept under the carpet, but is of that era of just fun, not really open world, but at the same time they kind of are, puzzle platformer 3D games, and I just love it. So much nostalgia.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one that my sister and I very much grew up on as well. And you and I have talked many times about that being the one remaster that we want, or remake that we would love to come out. It would be so good. Someone please do it. Vicarious Visions, get on it. Yeah, totally. We know you're listening.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
So the first one that will come to mind for me would be Commander Keen. The Commander Keen series. I've played one of the games a couple of times on the channel. So you can go check that out on youtube.com/each to their own, if you're not there already. And yeah, this was just a big family game for me. My parents used to play it. They brought me up on it. So it's the first game I remember playing. It's an old DOS game. There's a bunch of other ones, but that was the primary family game that we basically played together.
Oh, I bet you're keen for that iOS version as well. Yeah, look, if you want to, I'm sure if you type in Commander Keen right now, that's the first thing that's going to come up. Don't worry, that's not the game.
It's not it, no. Go check out the other ones. They're super cheap on like Steam and stuff. I think they're on Switch as well.
Yeah, wow.
I think. Don't quote me on that. You have 2 more?
I do. The next one that came to mind was Muppet Monster Adventure, which basically I vaguely remember. I didn't even look this one up, but it was like you're Kermit, and I think throughout the game, you are able to adapt to different monsters like werewolves, vampires, mummies, and stuff, and you get their abilities, and you can kind of switch on the fly. So you'll be able to fly around the map, or you can also whatever a mummy does. And it was kind of really creepy. Another exactly the same. I mean, a lot of these PS1 era games were all the same. There was open world, platforming kind of action adventure. But yeah, it's one of those ones that had like a looping soundtrack that I know if we played now would hate. But as a kid, it's like it ingrains in your mind and just kind of you get glued to the screen because of the score and because of the sound effects that are just like Banjo-Kazooie level annoying.
Yeah, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
You got another one?
My next one would be probably Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes. Another thing I very, very much grew up on with my sister. We used to play all the time. I had red, she had blue, and every time a new game came out, we would get the opposite one so that we could try and get all the Pokemon together. This was just a huge part of my life, and I guess also my family's life because of that. Because like my parents took me to Pokemon 2000, which was a Pokemon convention at the University of Sydney, which, funnily enough, I ended up studying there. But yeah, I went there when I was like 9. And there were a whole bunch of people trading cards, so I traded a bunch of cards. I played Gold and Silver like months before it was coming out, which was awesome. I think you could actually buy it there, but my parents wouldn't do it. But yeah, that was just a huge part of my life. And one funny story is that when I first got that, I got it for Christmas in like 1998 or something, whenever it came out, with a Game Boy. It was one of my first Game Boy games, along with Super Mario 3 or something, and Tetris. But we did the Great Ocean Road that year for our Christmas holiday break, and I played hours and hours of Pokemon, but I hadn't left the house yet, because I didn't know how, because they don't tell you anywhere explicitly that the carpet is a doorway. So I was just like going upstairs, going downstairs, watching the TVs, like going on the computer, talking to my mum. Like there's a NES in your bedroom, so I'm like playing the NES, not that you actually play anything, but just text comes up and says you're playing the NES. I did it for ages. I think there was one point where I accidentally went outside and then immediately went back in and then was like, holy crap, what just happened? And I had no idea. But when I looked over at my sister playing, she was like wandering around somewhere, and I'm like, what are you playing? Where are you? What is happening? And then she showed me. She'd played many, many more hours. And that was how I eventually got started in Pokemon, was my sister having to show me hours into playing that you can actually leave the house and there's more to it. It was a simpler time, and I had a simpler brain.
Imagine if you were still doing that.
Oh, man.
You're playing Pokemon Go and you never leave your own house. Josh, what are you in your room still for? I can't get out. What do you mean? I'm playing Pokemon. I just can't. How do I open the door?
That sounds about right. That sounds definitely about right. Yep. And that sort of, I guess, passion for Pokemon is continuing, as Will just said. I'm still playing Pokemon Go now, on and off. Very much more on at the moment for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just playing it more again in the last couple of weeks. But my mum's playing Pokemon Go, and my sister. We're still playing. We've been playing ever since it came out. The other day I was playing Let's Go Pikachu on my Switch, and it's bizarre. I don't know why I'm still into it and doing all this stuff, but I still love it. I gave my nephew for his first birthday this is 3 days ago, 3 like stress ball Pokeballs, and then like a big Master Ball plushie thing.
Good.
So that was his first birthday, and I'm pretty sure my sister has taken all of our Pokemon plushies that we collected throughout our lives and have just given them to him as well. So he's growing up right.
Yeah. Kid's got a good head.
That's it. Third one, Will.
Third and final would be Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue.
Nice. I don't think I ever played that.
It was so good. It also, Buzz Lightyear is an important character. The last 2 Toy Story films have forgotten that, so... But, yeah, it was another... Exactly in the same vein. I've had a style of game that I like, and I really still lean towards it, but... yeah, you're going around, it's open world, it's open house, I guess, of Andy's house, as well as the backyard and the garage, and I think you end up at the toy store and stuff like that. But it's like, I looked up gameplay of it the other day, actually, and I forgot how you attack things. So basically, to attack things, because they're kind of just bouncing around their different toys and that, you can't... I'm sure you can eventually unlock it. You can't karate chop, which is like his main attack feature.
Yes.
You have to like, and because there's no reticule or anything, you have to be facing the correct way and then hit the laser button. And it's like, if you're not facing the right way, he's not going to aim at it. It's like you just have to physically make sure Buzz is looking, which means if he has to look behind him, he just has to look behind him, and you have to move him that way. You could move the camera, but maybe you need to be quick enough. You just have to hope. And it's like, you can go into visor mode, which would let you aim a lot better, but it's like, that's not going to work in a combat situation.
Sure. So visor mode, I assume, is more like looking down the scope kind of thing?
Yeah, and kind of, yeah, and it's for specific, like, unlocking latches and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those games that I'm like, I couldn't play that now. I mean, probably all 3 except for Croc, I couldn't play now. Yes. I'm sure it'd be impossible to play.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. It very much, to me, sounds like the Rugrats game as well.
Yes! Oh, but those games are weird because it's like you walk around until something happens.
Yeah, a little bit, hey. Yep.
That's just so strange. I just remember, like, getting stuck behind I don't know, there was like a circus? Maybe that was the Rugrats in Paris one, but I just remember getting stuck behind it and just staring at the screen and going... Oh, well, I guess that's that.
Just giving up on life.
Yeah, like, sets fire to PlayStation.
Nice. Cool. My last one would probably be more towards the end of primary school, which would have been the Tony Hawk series. Oh, man, did I play the crap out of those games. Especially 3 and 4 because I didn't have money to buy new games. My holidays consisted of waking up, 100%ing one of the 2, like Pro Skater 3 or Pro Skater 4 games, and then continuing my day. Every morning, every single day, I just did that.
Oh, dear.
I loved them so much. I loved Underground 1 and 2. I played it with my sister again, and... we like nearly wet ourselves with some of the weird crap that happened in those games, because they had much more sort of story-driven stuff. And there's this Russian guy when you're in Moscow, I think, and he's like, "Hey, quite funky fresh, my main man," and we were just like pissing ourselves laughing because for some reason that was the funniest thing. Those games were great. That's also one of the other things that I would love to have remastered. It'll never happen, but my goodness, those games are incredible. Lately, I've been playing a game called Ollie Ollie, which is it's on Switch. Apparently, it's been out for a little while, but it's like a side-scrolling skateboarding game, and it's got a very similar sort of vein to the original Tony Hawk's, but just in 2D.
Yep.
So it gives you like a list of challenges that you have to try and meet before the deadline of the level. So that's been my little jump back into skateboarding games, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Skatebird, which basically just looks like those original games. So I'm looking forward to that eventually coming out and just being a bird, skateboarding in a 3D environment. Please, so many hats. Yeah, that was a long time on one question.
It was.
I think the rest won't be as long.
No. I mean, the next one's a little bit of a trip in nostalgia, but also kind of very direct. Lama Loki asks what our favourite handheld console is.
What are you thinking, Will?
I mean, I feel like you, as a person, in terms of your era of gaming, would have spent more time with different handhelds.
Yes, I've had a couple in my time. Yeah.
Whereas I have had, like, the DSi, the Switch, and the Game Boy Advance. Okay. And that's it. And for me, I would put my Game Boy Advanced SP as my favorite handheld.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What did you used to play on it?
The two major ones I played, and I've still every now and then whenever I find it, because I find it and then I leave it somewhere and then it's gone until I find it again. The Star Wars trilogy, Apprentice of the Force, which was all three films in kind of a 2D side-scrolly thing, and it got so hard in the best way, and you can unlock stuff for your blaster and your lightsaber, and you unlock different force powers that you would activate with different shoulder buttons and B and A and stuff, and it was the coolest thing. And once you finish the entire campaign, there's just a horde mode that's just like single screen, and stuff just comes at you from like there's 3 levels, and it just comes at you from the sides, and it's like I probably only ever got through a minute's worth because they just throw it at you, and it's the coolest thing. And second to that, although it's from the original Game Boy, but I had the cartridge of it, Darkwing Duck, the video game.
Nice.
Which was so good. So good.
That's sick.
But what about you, Joshua?
I would have to say probably the Game Boy, my Game Boy Color. I just played the crap out of that. I had a whole bunch of games, like all the Pokemons and Pokemon Pinball and all of that, like Pokemon Trading Card Game, and the Pokemon Printer, and the Pokemon... sorry, not the Pokemon Printer, the Game Boy Printer, and the Game Boy Camera, which is a whole cartridge with a big fat camera in it, and it was like there was actual I can't believe I've just remembered there was an actual like AR game. So you go in, it turns on the camera, and there's like games that show you your environment, but then you're like shooting things as well. It's crazy. And then you could take photos of people, and it would crop out their faces and then put them as the enemies that you fight in those games inside the Game Boy camera thing. It was so cool.
That's epic.
It was incredible. What a thing.
God.
Yeah, so that was amazing. I also have, not that I played it all that much, but I have a very special place in my heart for the PS Vita. It was very much ahead of its time, and...
it's the Switch.
It essentially is, yes.
Yeah.
The Switch came at the right time.
Yeah.
The Vita came at the wrong time. The Vita was too powerful, and that was its downfall. But that thing is an incredible piece of hardware. It had some great games on it. It had like a whole, like an entire Uncharted game, like the same size, all in full 3D, the same sort of almost length as the original Uncharted games and stuff. Like, holy crap, that little machine is amazing. So yes, I do have a special place in my heart for the Vita as well.
Yeah. I've still got to give you my Pokemon Game Boy episode.
That's right. Yeah,
I'll get that out
for
the end of the year. But
that's so weird that exists.
I've got a Game Boy cartridge that's just an episode of Pokemon. It's very odd. You just put it in and it instantly just plays an episode of Pokemon.
That's insanity.
It's odd. But a less odd question, again from Lamaloki, is just Doctor's best to worst, which it's very... I mean, it changes depending on who you've watched last with these Doctor Who's.
This is true. I'm gonna leave this one to you because I've only really watched 4?
Yeah.
I've only really watched
Probably
four Doctors. So, yeah. If I was to rate them, then I'd probably say Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, David Tennant, and Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah.
I'd probably say that's my order for those, but they're the only ones I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same order, but there's just a lot of other numbers for me. Yeah, same. It's Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi. I'll do numbers. 11, 12, 7, 2, 5, 10, 4, 3, 9, 1, 13, 8, 6. I will say Jodie's only low because her series sucks. It's not her. She just hasn't had any time to do anything. So it's like, I've got nothing to go on.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a bit more, and the VR game is coming and it looks amazing, and she's the Doctor in it. So,
yeah,
man, that's
exciting.
That's a great start for her as well. The fact that she's going to be in a freaking VR game.
Well, she already has, although the one that's already come out is like an experience, and she's kind of a cartoon. It's a lot more of a cartoon experience.
Sure.
But that's come out. Yeah, there's a Doctor Who Edge of Time, comes out end of September. And hopefully that gives her something to do. It's just her, so assumedly she's going to be good in it. And then, not unprepared, followed up that with a top 3 companions. Again, you haven't seen many, but if you were to just give really, it's just 3 companions you remember.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. I'm sitting here and I'm like, huh. I think I would go for. I love Clara. She's great. Amy
Sure.
Pond and what's her name? David Tennant's redhead.
Oh, Donna.
Donna, she's fantastic. She's so damn
She's so
funny.
much fun.
They would be my top 3.
They're pretty good. I mean, Donna would be on the list if there wasn't a further 40 years of Doctor Who.
Yes.
She would
yes,
absolutely
very
be
true.
one of the 3. Amy, obviously, that entire era of Doctor Who is like just magical. Romana too, which was the 4th Doctor's companion. Also Tom Baker's wife for a little bit until she realised he's insane. And then Ace, which was the 7th Doctor's companion, who was basically the first modern companion. She wasn't screamy. She wore not a leather jacket, but a jacket full of patches. She carried a jukebox. She could fight. Actually, her bag had grenades and like rocket launcher missiles in them. So
What?
She was a modern gal, just
Man,
like all the
she's-
women you see
she's
with rocket launchers in
packing.
their backs.
That is ridiculous. Emmy took my advice in a potential sort of joke question when I was asking everyone about this. I said that if you asked Will his sock size, he would oblige and tell you what his sock size is. So, Will, what is your sock size?
Is there sock sizes?
I think they're kind of vague. Like on the bottom of some socks, it's like 6 to 10. It's like that seems like a big gap.
Yeah.
I think I'm 6 to 10, which is why I'm jumping on that. So
Right. See, because I don't know, because like you got your happy socks, and generally they're just in bulk, and it's like I want that pattern, and I just pick them up and buy them.
You just kind of grab them.
Yeah.
Sock
So
sizes are very general, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I think
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I think they're like stretchy enough to almost not matter what foot size you are in comparison to shoes, which you have to
Yes.
get quite specific with. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I do not know, but I'll message you later a picture of the bottom of one of my socks.
But you love your. If we continue on with socks, you love your cool like patterny socks with pictures and stuff on it, right?
Yes.
That's Will's sock. My
my
sock
sock.
is the Bond anklet sock. The ones with like they're mostly white with a bit of color on the bottom.
Yeah. Just like
what
you,
a-
mostly white.
That's it, with a bit of color on the bottom.
Oh, I didn't need to know that. Great.
All right. Well, I'm gonna ask you Emmy's next question,
Yeah.
so that you don't have to ask it yourself. She asks what your work experience was like at Good Game when you did work experience. You did a whole bunch, but let's just go
did.
for the very, very first time that you did work experience right at the start.
So the very first day, at the end of it, was a work meeting, everyone in one room, and like probably a minute into the whole thing, Barjo picked up an entire eclair, put it in his mouth, and then just from the tip just pushed it in and just started laughing. So that was the first experience of the Good Game office, really.
That's great.
Yeah. But the main thing I was doing the entire week I was there was RFTs, which is basically scanning through episodes. And for every single piece of footage that wasn't just the duo in the seats talking, you had to list what it was, try to find the source. If it's a game, write the game name, the developer, the rating, and the in and outs for it. And it's like every time it's used, you have to write the in and outs of the clip. And,
Yep.
you know, clips sometimes go for 5 seconds or less. They go for like 80 frames or something, which is actually longer than 5 seconds. So that was the main thing I was doing that whole week. But what else did I do? I made a Good Game Doctor Who poster, and I brought that in a frame. And Janet, who was kind of the creator of Good Game and the exec producer, had it in her office until Big Good Game got cancelled, and there was all
Aw.
the movements. And now it's on my desk. It's next to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Nice.
So that
And what year was that?
2013.
Far out.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, year 10. And, but yeah, really it was just RFTs, helping where I could. This was before I'd shown off any of my skills, in the editing and stuff. But, I think the Photoshop was the start of that. That was like, they were
Yes.
like, huh, that's
This
a
guy got
skill.
some skills, yeah.
Yeah. But actually, the last day I was there, they were moving one office to another office, like another room, and I was helping with that. And Pete had like a tan shirt. If you don't know who Peter Burns, who was the producer, writer of Pocket, and screenplay, and basically anything that's got Nick Richardson in it, he was probably involved, and he's also involved with A Good Game for a long time. But he had like a tan shirt on and was like jumping up and down, and it was like I was looking at Nathan Drake from behind. It was a very strange moment. But also, old mate Bajo has a bit of a bad back, which you would know if you've seen any of his streams, because he does mention it. So he can't lift things. So I went with him to buy some computer parts, and on the way back, I was like, I probably need like to go back to school with some pointers. And as time has gone on, I remember less of it, but one of them was always brush your teeth. One of them
Very good.
was look after your back, obviously. And the other was get a degree.
Right.
And I still don't.
You got some TAFE qualifications.
Yeah, well, I still brush my teeth and look after my back. So, 2 out of 3 isn't bad.
2 out of 3, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And yeah, look, lots has happened since.
That's awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
My work experience was working with my dad in this weird factory where I did some web development stuff.
Yeah.
But then I ended up working there for
I
like
was gonna
4
say,
years
yeah.
later and programming for them. I always said I wanted to be exactly like my dad when I was smaller.
Yeah.
And then I ended up working with him at the same company that he worked for.
so adorable.
So, I ended up doing that when I was like 24. Bizarre. Yeah, awesome. Cool. We got Nox Bishop asking our inspiration in our work and ETTO.
Seeing as I just talked for a while, in your work, your field of work, which has been a few different ones, where is your inspiration for that come from?
Well, I guess the reason... So I was originally a maths teacher, and the reason why I got into that was basically the GFC hit. So the global financial crisis, everyone was losing their jobs, except for like teachers and doctors and stuff. So I was like, maybe I should do something like super stable. And I'm good at maths and I enjoy like teaching and hanging out with people and stuff. So maybe I'll just do that. So that's why I did that. That was the inspiration behind getting into that. For 2 years, trying to get a full-time job while doing casual teaching, I kept getting asked by different schools to apply for jobs. And then I would apply for those jobs as a full-time maths teacher, and then they would give it to someone else. And they'd be like, you were really close, but this person just had a bit more experience. And that just happened over and over and over again. And so while I was also working with my dad, as I previously mentioned, doing programming, in the bottom corner of my screen, I had a little YouTube window that was just playing game development tutorials. I'd never made games before. I was just watching Unity tutorials. And then 1 year when you and I were at Supernova, there were a whole bunch of game development stands for like game development colleges. So I went and checked out a whole bunch, ended up doing a Cert 3 in game programming. And then my teacher was like, you're a really good programmer. You should think about doing the whole course. And I was like, that would be incredible, because then I could just make video games for a living. So I did that. And
And you're doing that.
and I'm doing that. Like, I am so incredibly lucky to be here making games. I may not be making the games I particularly want to make at this point in time, but my goodness, it is so rare to get into this industry that I'm just happy to be here at this stage. Yeah, so I guess that's the inspiration. I think when I decided that I really wanted to start doing game development, I did like a whole bunch of research on the industry and how hard it would be. And in the end, I was like, I just don't want to become like an old, angry, like 60-year-old maths teacher wondering whether it could have happened.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give it a go, take a stab, and see what would come with it, if anything. So yeah, that was how I got into game development, where I am now.
What a journey.
Yeah, pretty good.
I guess, like, unlike you, I haven't had two distinctly different jobs. I worked at, like, Toys R Us and a chemist, so I wouldn't really put them as inspirations for my work. But, obviously, just making things is kind of my work. Obviously, now, good game, but beforehand, screenplay. I also did What Is Music in between there. And, yeah, just making content, I think, is birthed from when I was a kid watching 80s films, where it's like, even though it's like magic, like those films are like impossible and hold up stupidly well today, at the same time my kid brain was like, I could probably do that. Like, okay, I'm a person, I can stand up and talk, I'll drive a car one day. So I think it's just watching those films and just the pure magic of those, obviously 60s films as well, with James Bond and stuff. And then as I got older, a film that I think changed, kind of pushed my mind even further as I can probably do something. And it leads almost directly into our next thing. In 2014, when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, that film just does something to my mind. And I think it's like in the music, in the visuals. And I think that was the start of me wanting to make things a little bit more professionally and just be in this industry. And obviously the industry has come to me now, with Disney moving into Fox Studios and ILM, so hopefully I'll shimmy on over there.
That would be absolutely incredible. But yeah, you sort of really started off, like, I know you were making things when you were much younger, but I think you got a massive, like a pretty damn good following on YouTube with your Doctor Who channel, right?
That's very true.
You didn't talk about that. I was like, that was the first thing I thought you were going to talk about.
I totally forgot until someone on the My Friend Pedro First Play was like, when are you going to make Doctor Who videos again? Like, probably never. That's true. Doctor Who, I used to make Doctor Who fan films for that, and they used to get a big following, and I used to talk about Doctor Who news. And that content steadily evolved, and people watched it, and then my now dear friend Oscar Crisp kind of stepped on that one and got picked up by the BBC to do a lot of things, which what lent me to use all the talents that I'd learnt there and the inspiration of Doctor Who and just nerd content to do what ended up being Nerdcast.
Yes.
It's kind of where we ended up.
Now ended up being ETTO.
ETTO, because we realised Nerdcast was a name that everyone had, so we changed it to ETTO, which is unsearchable.
It really is. And it's also an Italian restaurant in Melbourne.
There you go.
There's a whole chain of them down here. Yeah, we really do.
Let's do that when I'm down for PAX. Let's do that. But yeah, so, and I mean, our inspiration for this, you probably know, it's less secretive. It's your good games, your Good Mythical Morning, Jake and Amir, and of course, our lives.
Yes, absolutely. We keep making jokes about it, especially in your 21st video, which I think you can find somewhere or other.
Yes,
all of your videos. That we pretty much, all we ever do is just steal other people's ideas and remake them or make them how we would want to do them and adjust them to our interests. So that's what we do. We just steal other people's ideas.
Yep.
Not an original bone in this channel.
Yeah. We steal them until I end up working for the show.
Very true. Dear. This has happened multiple times now.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we also well, actually, I think it kind of was during, but then because we did it, it's what ETTO became. We did a series of Not Pocket, which was a spin on Good Game Pocket's show. If you don't know, it exists on YouTube, on Good Games channel, if you do want to check it out. And in that, one of the questions that were asked in our Ask Pocket, or Ask Not Pocket, was what is a sheep? And that question has returned from Alo. Why the name sheep?
Alright, so there's sort of two reasons why it first came up. The first one was I used to be in a band called Pointy Sheep. you used to be able to find a whole bunch of stuff online of a gig that we played, but I've since made those private because they're very embarrassing. But we still have a MySpace. Annoyingly, I can't seem to play the music on there. I was actually on there like last week or 2 weeks ago, and for some reason the songs won't actually play on there anymore, which is probably also a good thing. But yeah, we had such hits such as "Stuck with a Freddo" and "Everybody Needs a Jetpack." Fantastic songs, good fun. We had 3 gigs over 3 years. It was just me and a drummer, and yeah, so some friends started calling me Sheep from that. But then there was also this British exchange student that I met and got to hang out with a bit, and she thought that my hair looked really curly and shaggy. So then she started calling me Sheep, totally unrelated to the fact that other people were calling me Sheep, which was super weird. So there was like 2 different reasons there. But the fact that there are 2 P's in it comes from back when Coke were doing the share a Coke with, and then would put a name on stuff, like put a name on a can. So at a local Westfield near where Will and I, where Will lives and where I used to live, you could go and get a free, it was like a tiny can, like a 250ml or something, Coke, and they would put a sticker with your name on it, or whatever you want written on there, to a certain point. They wouldn't let you get certain things, and one of them was sheep with 1 P, because that's unhygienic, and Coke wouldn't allow you to, like, they don't want to look like they're advertising or encouraging sharing liquids with animals.
Yeah.
So I said, how about with 2 Ps? Because then it's technically not the animal anymore, it's just a word that doesn't exist. And they were like, yeah, okay. So then from then on, I don't know how that got through, but from then on, my gamer tag changed to Sheep, and that's what I've used. That's it. That's my name. That's it.
You won't know that, though, if you got the PAX brochure from last year, because he's not even in it.
It's so weird. It's so rude. What even the hell?
Actually, no, you were in it, but the name Josh wasn't. Just Sheep, and
That's
it wasn't
right.
even 2 Ps.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. It was just so incredibly wrong.
It was like the lovely boy Will and Sheep.
Yes.
Very odd. Hopefully it'll be fixed this year if we get our panel through.
Fingers crossed. We are submitting that. Please come to PAX and please come see us and please come hang out. And hopefully, if there's enough people, or even if there's not, we'll just go get lunch with a bunch of you guys.
And speaking of lunch, Alo asks, what did we have for lunch? I am so excited to hear what you say, Josh.
I had lasagna.
Look, it's fine. That'll do.
Lasagna and garlic bread.
Yep. No, okay, you've ruined it.
Why?
The garlic bread, Joshua.
Why? What?
It's just salty bread.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I mean, look. Yeah.
My work caters my lunch, and so that's what I ate. They just brought...
Oh, well, if that's their thing, then that's fine.
That's it. They brought lasagna and they brought garlic bread, so that's what I'm eating.
They all know you're nerds and don't actually know how to eat sustenance.
Correct. I'm thinking tomorrow's going to be a hot dog day, because we haven't had hot dogs for a while. What did you have for lunch, Will?
I had a French baguette.
Baguettes?
Baguette with prosciutto and like the leafy kind of salad, and it was really nice with not cheddar cheese. It's kind of it's like a thick cheese. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really lovely thing. And I
like
grabbed
feta?
Not feta. Fuck, I know what feta is. That's what I live off.
Okay, my apologies.
It's like the holy cheese. Jesus.
Oh.
But I had that, and because this week I'm not buying my lunch. Although everyone went to 8-Bit, so I got chips, and then everyone went to Messina, so I got ice cream. But I still had the main thing was not. That was healthy. The main thing was healthy.
Yes, we were very much on different levels today.
Yeah,
and probably most days.
Most days, yeah. No, I'm this week no buying my lunch apart from chips and an ice cream.
Yep, fair enough.
But that was their fault. They took me to that place, and I had no choice.
Very good. All right, Will, who was born in a different decade, Who are your favorite music artists? This is back from Emmy once again.
What is that? I don't even know. I have music artists. What? John Williams, Michael Giacchino, and Alan Silvestri? Does that count?
I guess, kind of.
They're composers. I guess that's an artist. If it's not them, then like Bublé, Robbie Williams, and the Beatles.
Yeah.
Would probably be the top three.
Yeah, they would have been the things that I would have guessed for you.
Yeah.
As well. Cool.
Josh?
My ones would be The Living End. I've loved them since I was in like year 1. I had a weird like taste in rock apparently when I was 6. My sister got me into those too. So, they're not emo. And then Reliant K have been a massive part of my life and super encouraging and stuff like that. So they're really cool. They're super fun. Go check them out. It's just so many other, like, I have so many inspirations. I guess the next one that comes to mind would be New Empire, who don't exist anymore, but they were a like local band. I guess I can say they were a local band back where we lived in Sydney, but they got very much nationally famous and to some extent internationally famous, and even more internationally famous when they broke up, because for some reason one of their songs on the album that they released like a year and a half prior, or probably even longer, became huge in South Korea and became like the number 1 song in South Korea for months.
Yeah.
But they'd already broken up, so I know that they were considering getting together again just to tour South Korea for like a bit of extra cash and stuff, but that didn't end up happening. Which I'm very happy about, because I went to their very, very last show where I absolutely bawled my eyes out for a number of reasons. But yeah, I wouldn't have been very happy if they did end up getting back together and playing more shows after I went to the last one. That was the last one, damn it.
Imagine how people who like John Farman feel.
This will be the last time. Maybe the last time. Nah.
Very much not.
What a jerk.
What a dick. At least Elton John's finishing up, assumedly. Probably not. He'll probably just come back out again. I mean, he's already come out. He came out a long time ago, but, you know, he'll tour again. Alo, back again with another question. One with a very simple answer, I feel. How do I finish my Steam library? You don't.
Or you move to the Epic Store.
That's true. That way, you only have like a few games every week or so that you have to play.
There you go.
You can get through those.
I think game libraries just will not end.
No.
We're getting more and more games so much more consistently, and they're mostly, well, not mostly really good, but there's a lot of really freaking good games out there. I'm really struggling to keep up at all, as I'm sure everyone.
Yeah.
That was a weird sentence, but yeah.
The word you're looking for is.
I think that was probably it. Yeah. But yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, Alo.
Halo. I haven't finished that game.
It's so good though.
But speaking of lots of things, because that's how many things we have in our Steam library, Jade asks, what do you look for in a collectible? And the first thing I look for is the price. Because
ooh, nice.
I
good
need to
twist
know
there.
that.
Yes. But then even so, it seems you don't care, because you still just, you buy all the things. So many Hot Toys on pre-order, Will.
It hurts.
How are you doing that?
It's fine. As I said to maybe you, I worked out that I've got like 10 more paychecks for the rest of the year. And if I were to put $300 out of each of them, then I would have them all paid off before the end of the year, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Very nice.
But on top of that, currently the way I do all my collectibles is I look for a theme or a line, because the word collect is in the name, so you shouldn't be random with what you're collecting. You should be collecting a line of things, or at least have a list of what you actually want to own and stick to that.
Yes.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah. In terms of, I think for me...
It's comics.
Yeah, it's very much comics. Comics are the thing, but the one thing that I find really hard is jumping in like partway through a series. If it's like a number one, then I am on board, buddy. I will jump on that like no one's business and collect it for as long as I freaking can. Yeah, I do find it hard just to jump in.
Yeah.
At something that's not a number one, which is very dangerous now that comics like once a year are just going back to number one. I hate them for it.
3 times a year. Who knows?
Oh, far out. What even the hell? But then I think just something that just piques my interest. Like I've got a lot of pops. Not as many as some people, but you know, more than some other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like little sets or just like one thing that I'm like, that just looks cool and I just want that in my possession.
Yeah.
So I'll just get that thing. Like just a cool pose or like a unique kind of design or something like that. Or just like, I don't know, I like that video game and I like that character, so I really want that. That's pretty much it. I'm fairly loose with my collections. I'm not all that out there, but I do collect a lot of things and I always have.
Yep.
Just on and off all the time. Like my comics started at Phantom and then went to The Simpsons and then back to Phantom throughout high school. And then once I left, I started doing the superhero comics when I discovered actual comic book stores instead of just news agencies. But yeah, that would be me. Bit more sporadic.
Yeah, you're definitely more sporadic. Just on Phantom, I assume one of the lead artists or one of the lead writers was at Supernova this year, and I was standing waiting for Tom Taylor, who's writing the current DCeased series, as well as Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and real awesome stuff. And this girl and I assume her boyfriend were walking along, kind of looking at people, and she like did a double take of him and like started crying. And it's like,
whoa.
This old dude had barely anyone, and if it was someone, it was someone almost of a similar age who'd obviously grown up with the comics.
Yeah.
But she was a Phantom fan, and like his face had remained the same because there's not much to be excited, and it's just like his face just melted. The fact that someone was so excited to see him, and it was like probably one of my highlights of Supernova ever. It was so cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it was
that's
so cool. The
What
opposite
amazing...
of George Lazenby and Richard Keel sitting alone for the entire convention. But yeah, good little bit of phantom moment there.
That's very cool. Nice.
Alo, back again with a thing that's now spurred me to probably have to do something about it. ETTO stickers.
Yes.
Packs.
Ooh.
Probably. Maybe.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm down for that.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are giving us so much money. We might as well give it back in a physical form. I mean, I don't want to... I would love to be able to send them to people. That would be pretty cool if we did some stickers.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's because yeah, you guys have so consistently donated. We've got patron dollars that we need to give back to you guys.
We do. Yeah, we have been talking about doing that as well, trying to figure out how to get stuff back to you through your incredible support. So yes, we will try and do some cool stuff for you. We'll keep brainstorming stickers. Maybe number one. That'll probably be the easiest thing to start with. Yeah. So let's go with that, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, because we want to get some cards at PAX for our panel for something that is very technological, that will be very clever. So
very cool.
Some packaging with that with some stickers would be a great idea. So thank you, Alo, and also Lama Loki. Yeah, maybe they'd look good on a Switch. Maybe you don't want that on your Switch because we're just two random dudes on the internet.
Could be, but sometimes
you,
people are into
friend.
that. And maybe you'll just get a new Switch in like a couple of months anyway.
Yeah.
Who knows?
One that doesn't have removable sides.
That's it. Or one that does and has a bigger battery and better
Yes.
processor and all the things. I kind of want that.
Please, so
think
that
I'm just-
Avengers Ultimate Alliance doesn't just friggin' cry every time you use a power move. Stupid game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to straight up like trade in my Switch and just get the better one and pay whatever EB is asking for trading.
There's no personal affection with those consoles. They do their job. It doesn't feel like your PlayStation or your Xbox. It's like, yeah, look, you're doing it, but I don't really care.
Yeah. It's all
say-
gotta be
I can
fine.
say bye-bye.
Cool. The rest of our questions are all from Aloe anyway.
Yes.
So let's just keep going. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Nah, I didn't make it. I tried so
you didn't
hard.
quite make it. Can I have a go?
Yeah, go for it.
I can't even say words on my own show, so I'm sure it won't work.
Here we go.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Almost.
Oh, almost. All right, I'm gonna go again.
Yeah.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Yeah, buddy.
Nice. Alo. Oh shit! I missed the bit at the start. Hang on. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Hey,
Nice.
there it is.
Have you got an answer to this?
Well, I guess a lot until it dies,
That's a good point.
right?
I mean, I researched it, but I mean, it's still a lot.
You researched it.
I did. I looked into this. Actually, I didn't get the final statistic. Let me just quickly work one little bit out. Here we go. Yep, that, please, Mr. Google. There you go. Holy shit, these guys can do a lot of wooden. Live reaction to a stat. So in 1988, Richard Thomas, which was just a dude, decided that he was going to calculate how much wood a wood could chuck. You know, the rest of it that we've already done.
Yep.
So woodchucks don't really have much to do with wood. It's just in the name. They're generally a burrowing animal. So they dig in dirt. So he worked out the average size of one of their burrows is about 35 square feet, and that a cubic foot of soil weighs 20 pounds. So he did the maths, obviously. 700 pounds of dirt, which is about 317 kilograms. Obviously, if it can move that much dirt, it could move that much wood, which means it could move 700 pounds of wood.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Far out. And that was a lot of, like, information.
Yeah, I know. Basically, man worked out how much dirt woodchuck could move, so therefore, if you can move that much dirt, probably move that much wood.
That's
in summary.
That's a good call. That's
Yeah.
fair. Makes sense.
There you go. 700 pounds of wood could be chucked by a woodchuck.
There you go. All right, next question. Damn it. All right. Have you watched or heard of Doom Patrol? I have heard of it. I have not watched it. But I've heard very good things from Will, who has
Yes.
watched it, and Will loves it.
I do. It's my favorite piece of superhero media this year.
Very good.
Yeah.
They've said it's like Umbrella Academy, but better, so we should just go watch it now.
Yeah.
What's
Please
it on?
It's not on anything here yet. It's obviously the DC streaming, so it'll
Yeah,
probably
okay.
come to Netflix eventually. But yeah, easily my favorite piece of superhero stuff this year. Though I do want to check out The Boys, which is on Amazon.
Yes.
And it's like Watchmen, but probably a bit more enjoyable.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty good things about it
Yeah.
on the Weekly Planet podcast today, which is awesome. And so I'm thinking about jumping on the 1 month free trial for Amazon Prime just to get through that.
a good
And
idea.
maybe we should do that and review it
Yeah,
for a pod
I'm
in the
down
future.
for that.
That'd be cool. And final thing.
Yeah, rounding it out is what are those little things at the end of your shoelaces called? Joshua, do you know? I would call them lace hats.
I believe they're actually called aglets.
You're correct.
Ah, there you go.
And fun fact, as a kid, I used to call them needles, and the old French word agulette, which is where aglet comes from, ironically, roughly translates to needle.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a weird coincidence.
Yeah, I just used to call them needles because I don't know why. I literally, it's, you know when you're a kid and you hear a word and you don't associate it with a thing, and you associate it with something else first, therefore that word doesn't mean the actual thing it means what you've decided it means.
Yeah, okay.
So, still in my mind, when I say needle, I can, like a hard plastic thing on the end of a lace, even though I know that's not what a needle is.
That's so bizarre.
But there you go, yeah, you were correct. Aglet.
Cool. There you go. Good stuff. And that brings us to the end of our AMA.
Yes.
Cool.
If you want to ask us more of anything, which is like AMOA, which I think is a very good idea for a saying, you can jump on over to patreon.com/each to their own, chuck in $1, and you can end up on our super secret Discord, or you can leave a comment down below because we'll take them from here as well. But you should just do that anyway, come out and hang out with the lovely people in our Discord.
That would be so good. And Will and I have talked this week, and we've been talking for the last hour and a half.
We're having a baby.
Are we?
It's not a bad idea. Such a good reaction.
But we're feeling much more energized. We have had a little bit of a break, which was not planned, but we've just been super, super busy, and our creative bones are returning, and we very much want to create a lot more content for you guys.
Yeah.
So we have a whole bunch of plans for things, and stuff is going to be coming at you much more consistently than it has over the last couple of months.
Yes.
So, and now that we're saying this, it's not going to happen, because every time we do say this, it just stops happening. So I got to stop announcing it. But I'm feeling real good. I'm really looking forward to making a whole bunch more stuff. So yeah.
And there's some very cool and exciting and hopefully job prospecting content coming out probably October, which I'm excited to make.
Yeah.
So
that would be very fun.
Keep your eyes well and truly peeled for those.
Okay.
That's one of those ones. That's one of those Willisms where even when I'm saying it, I'm like, nah. That was terrible. But if you are hanging around on YouTube, you can check out my first play of my friend Pedro, as well as Josh's of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. We also have our Spider-Man podcast up. And if you're on the Old Mate Spotify, you could go over to YouTube, or if you're on YouTube, you can go over to Spotify and listen to these things there.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting that we actually have a Spotify playlist of like...
Oh, yeah.
It's basically like an ETTO playlist.
Yeah.
So it's just a whole bunch of songs that Will and I really love. They're all super upbeat and happy, so my sad sense of music will not be getting you down on that playlist. I chose the happy ones. So, yeah, go check that out. What's it called again?
ETTO.
ETTO, that's right.
ETTO.
Do you want to read that again? Because I was talking over the top, so it might overlap.
Well, we edit these, but A.
Not A. Don't start with A.
Don't type A. Type ETTAP. Although it's also got a flame emoji at the start, so hopefully you don't have to type that unless you want
it. It does. I think you just ended with AP, but it's APE.
Well, there's an E too. There's an E at the end.
Oh man, you guys will never find it.
No, it's fine.
Until next time, until the next video, or until the next podcast, I've been Sheep.
And I have been Will.
Fairly well.
Fairly well.
Fairly well.